You walk into a room thinking you're being seen for who you are. George Soros would read your entire hand in under 4 seconds, and you wouldn't even know he was looking. Soros didn't build $14 billion by being smarter than everyone. He built it by seeing 4 specific tells nobody else was trained to see. Cold, mechanical, instant. And here's the part that should make you sit up. Those exact tells are the ones sharp 22-year-olds are broadcasting every day without knowing it. By the end of this, you will understand why the impressive version of yourself you keep performing is actually the version that gets you filtered out. Stay to the end, because the 4th tell is the one everyone skips, and it's the one that actually rewires how people rank you in a room. 2 questions to hold on to. Why does Soros trust his back before his brain? And what's the one thing he refuses to hire for even when the resume is perfect? We'll get there. Soros has a famous rule that sounds insane the first time you hear it. When his back starts hurting, he changes his position in the market. Not because of a chart, not because of news, because his body knows something his brain hasn't articulated yet. This isn't mysticism. It's called somatic marker theory, developed by neuroscientist Antonio Damasio. Your body registers threat, contradiction, and misalignment before your conscious mind can name them. The gut isn't a metaphor. It's an actual second nervous system with more neurons than a cat's brain. Here's why this cuts you at 22. You are the generation trained to override your body. Tired, push through, uncomfortable in that friendship. Stop being dramatic. Something feels off about that internship, that guy, that opportunity. Stop overthinking. You've been conditioned to treat your own nervous system as a bug, not a feature. Soros treats it as his most expensive instrument. When he watches a young person, he isn't listening to what they say. He's watching for the flinch, the half-second delay when you ask them about their business partner, the shoulder that rises when a certain name comes up, the smile that arrives 1 beat too late. He calls it dissonance. Psychologists call it micro-expression leakage. Paul Ekman's entire career was built on this. You leak. Everyone leaks. The question is whether the person across from you is trained to read the leak. Sharp 22-year-olds get filtered here constantly. You tell yourself you're fine with the roommate, the job, the girl, the plan. Your body is screaming something else. Anyone with real pattern recognition sees the gap between the story you're selling and the body telling the truth, and they quietly downgrade their trust in you. Not because you lied, because you can't even read yourself yet. But that's only the first layer. The second tell is where it gets uncomfortable. Everybody your age thinks confidence is currency. TikTok told you that. Every self-help clip told you that. Speak with certainty. Command the room. Never let them see doubt. Soros does the exact opposite. And here's the counterintuitive part. The more certain someone sounds, the lower he rates their intelligence. If this is landing, save this video. You will want to come back to this one. His actual quote, "I'm only rich because I know when I'm wrong." He built his fortune on a concept called fallibilism. The core idea, any position you hold is provisional. The person who cannot say, "I might be wrong about this," is not confident. They're brittle. They will crack the second reality contradicts them. Now overlay that on the Dunning-Kruger effect. The people with the least skill in a domain rate their own ability the highest. The people with actual mastery live in constant doubt because they can see how much they don't know. When a 22-year-old walks into a room performing certainty, "I've got this figured out, I know exactly what I want, I have a 5-year plan." Soros doesn't see leadership. He sees Dunning-Kruger with good lighting. Here's what nobody tells you. In elite rooms, hedged language is high status. I could be wrong, but the way I'm currently thinking about it. One frame that might apply here. These aren't signs of weakness. They're signals that your mind is still capable of updating. Rigid certainty is what powerless people use to feel powerful. The comment section question, drop this in the comments. Have you ever been in a room where the loudest, most certain person turned out to be completely full of it? Because that person is the person you've been coached to become. Every manifest your reality video, every act as if clip, every fake it till you make it guru is training you to become the exact profile Soros filters out first. Machiavelli wrote about this 500 years ago. He said the wise ruler must appear to have virtues while retaining the capacity to abandon them. The modern version, appear coachable, remain adaptable, never let your identity fuse with a position you might have to abandon. The person who says, "This is who I am and I'll die on this hill," is not a warrior. They are a target with a fixed position. You want to know why older, richer, more powerful people seem to see through you? It's not your age. It's the certainty performance. Drop it and watch how fast the room recalibrates. But here's the thing, even if you fix your certainty and read your body, there's a third tell that decides whether you get invited back to the table. Soros built his entire theory of markets on one word, reflexivity. It sounds academic, it's not. It's the sharpest social filter he uses. Here's the idea. Most people are passive observers of reality. They watch the world, form opinions, describe what they see. Small percentage of people don't just observe reality, they change it by observing it. Their belief moves the price. Their presence moves the room. Their attention creates the outcome. Soros looks for this tell in under a minute of talking to someone. He wants to know, are you a describer or are you a shaper? Watch the way you talk about your own life. The job market is rough right now. My friends are all doing better than me. It's hard to meet people in this city. The economy is against my generation. Every one of those sentences is a describer sentence. You are the object, life is the subject, and you are recording the weather. The shaper version, I'm currently underpricing myself and I'm about to fix it. My friend group is stalling my growth and I'm restructuring it. I haven't been putting myself in the rooms where I'd meet people I actually want. Same reality, completely different position inside it. One of them says, I am acted upon. The other says, I am acting. This maps directly to a concept from psychologist Julian Rotter called locus of control. External locus, things happen to me. Internal locus, I make things happen. Every longitudinal study on income, health, and life satisfaction lines up on the same side. Internal locus wins, not slightly, massively. But here's the status angle that nobody teaches you at 22. Every powerful person in a room is doing this scan on you within minutes. They're not being cruel. They're being economical. Time is their most expensive asset, and they can't afford to invest attention in people who describe their way through life. Describers drain, shapers compound, and the split between the two is visible in about 3 sentences. The dark part, most 22-year-olds don't even know which one they are. You think you're a shaper because you have ambition. Ambition is not shaping. Ambition is a describer's dream. Shaping is what you did about your ambition in the last 7 days. If you want to test yourself, listen to your own next conversation. Count how many sentences begin with I as the actor versus how many begin with something else acting on you. Ratio doesn't lie. Sorrows hears that ratio in the first minute and files you accordingly. And now we get to the fourth tell, the one most people skip, and it's the one that actually changes how people rank you. Here's what Sorrows pays attention to that almost nobody discusses openly. What you do in the silence. Not the pitch, not the interview, not the group setting. The silence. He watches how a person behaves in the seconds after praise stops, in the days after a deal closes, in the room after the important people leave. In the vacuum, when there is no audience, no scoreboard, no reward loop, that is where character actually lives. Behavioral psychologists call this intrinsic motivation versus extrinsic contingency. Classic Desai and Ryan research showed something brutal. People who perform only for external rewards collapse the moment the reward is removed. People with internal drivers keep going in the dark. And every high-level operator in the world is calibrated to spot which one you are. Here's the specific version at 22. You post something and it does well. What do you do the next day? You start a project and nobody notices. Do you finish it? You get complimented on your discipline. Does the discipline survive the compliment? You have a good conversation with someone powerful. Do you follow up when there's no obvious reason to? The silence is where Machiavelli said character is forged. The 48 Laws of Power calls it discretion. Robert Greene called mastery the quiet accumulation of hours nobody sees. Sorrows hires and bets on people who show him signal in the silence. A text sent when nothing was owed. A question asked when nothing was assigned. A piece of work polished when no one was checking. The dark triad research, narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy, the trait that appears across all three is a collapse of behavior when the audience disappears. High triad people are performers first. Take the mirror away and there's less than you expected. People who scare the powerful are the ones who behave identically whether they are being watched or not. That's not virtue signaling. That's rare and it's expensive to fake. Here's the reframe. Stop optimizing your visible moves. Everyone can see those and everyone is grading them on a curve. Start optimizing your invisible ones. Who you are at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday when nothing is on the line. What you read when you don't have to post about it. How you treat the barista who can do nothing for you. Whether the version of you talking to no one matches the version of you talking to someone important. That's the tell that closes every door for you or opens every one. And it's the tell nobody your age is even competing on because the entire attention economy trained you to only exist when observed. If you made it this far, you already know most channels aren't going to tell you this. They'll sell you affirmations and morning routines and pretend that's the game. This channel is the opposite: real psychology, real power dynamics, no fake positivity. Subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a drop. There are people in your generation quietly getting this and pulling ahead, and there are people still performing for algorithms. You know which side you want to be on. Here's the one thing I want you to hold on to. You are being read constantly by people better at reading than you realize. That sounds scary. It's actually freeing. Because the moment you know the tells, you stop performing the wrong signals. You stop selling certainty you don't have. You stop describing your way through your life. You start behaving the same in the silence as you do in the spotlight. Nobody is coming to teach you this in school. Nobody is going to hand it to you at work. You're going to have to build it yourself, one honest read at a time. You already suspected the world worked this way. Now you have names for it. If this hit, my video on the hidden costs of being the smart one in your friend group will make even more sense now. It's the exact trap most sharp 22-year-olds fall into right after they learn this stuff. Go watch that one next.